Hey guys, and welcome to today's F1 2020 video. In line with the race at France this weekend, we are going to be taking the Mercedes W11 as Lewis Hamilton around a 50% race at the track. Now, this is going to be a very wet race, and we are going to be setting the AI to 100. Now, the assists are on elite, and we are going to be setting damage to reduced here. As we do want to start from the back, we are going to be turning on one-shot qualifying, and then we will just retire from the session. Now, I am using a custom setup because the default setups are horrendous on this game. You get major understeer, and it's just not going to help with pace. So with this, we're just going to see how far up ahead we can actually get. Now, coming onto the race, we've got 4 lights, 5th light, and we're off. Getting a relatively decent start here, already alongside Giovinazzi, to 17th right now. Now we want to take this relatively safe into turn 1, but we do actually make slight contact with Raikkonen here. But luckily, no damage, so no harm done. Taking it as clean as we possibly can. And we do tap again with Raikkonen, but again, luckily, no damage. Now going into this next corner, you can see that I actually slammed the brakes pretty hard in order to avoid contact with Kvyat there. But that's the first part of the race done, getting through the first few corners. And we are currently in 16th place, so not too bad. And now we've just got to chase down Magnussen and Kvyat, who are up ahead. ERS, rich fuel mix, just trying to close up the gap towards them. Now we can see that they are battling, so this is going to work in our favor a little bit. Getting a good exit, I hope. Getting a little squirmy, but nonetheless, we do get our ERS on. To the right, rich fuel mix, and we do get past them. Now up ahead, we do have Grosjean about 1.5 seconds away, and it is ideal that we try and close up to him as much as possible, because getting through these back drivers as fast as possible would actually aid us a lot more later on in the race, because I do believe we have the pace to make it forward. And as you can see, we have already closed down to under a second, so this is working for us pretty well so far as we come to the end of the first lap of the French Grand Prix. Right on the tail of Grosjean, with about 4 tenths behind him. We get our ERS on, rich fuel mix, get as close as possible, swerve to the right, and we get past him. Taking it cautious into turn 1 because we do not want to make contact with Grosjean's front wing. And we do manage to make it stick. Now coming to the end of the second lap, we do try and pull off a very similar move on Gasly, and we do manage to complete it a lot earlier than we did before. So that's good for us. Taking it a little bit wide into turn 1, but still holding our position and getting back on the line. That was okay, not too bad. And as you can see, it has actually taken us another 3 laps to actually get closer to Norris, to be in striking distance. And now we are just going to tail behind him, ERS on, rich fuel mix, trying to get as much of the slipstream as we can in the wet. And as you can see, we are not making up much ground, but we do outbrake him to an extent. And we do get past Norris. Now with Ocon up ahead, these guys are probably going to be a little bit tougher to pass, but we are going to try our best. Coming onto lap 10 here, we are closing onto the gearbox of Ocon, and we are right behind him, and we are going to try and see if we can get past him. ERS on, rich fuel mix, to the right, and we pretty much got this move covered. We can see Ocon trying to defend, but we do manage to hold the position and get ahead of him. Currently we are in 10th place after 10 laps, so not too bad of progress here, but we can see that we have been stuck behind Norris, Ocon and Stroll for the past 4 or 5 laps, and this has actually lost us a lot of time to the leaders, and this may come back to affect us later on. So not very ideal here, so we're just going to keep trying to move forward. Coming onto the end of lap 12, beginning of lap 13, ERS on rich fuel mix, trying to get past Stroll, and we do squeeze him a little bit into the first corner, but we do manage to get the move done without causing any damage to either of us. And as you can see, we do have a yellow flag, and Ricardo is out of the session. So right here, I was actually hoping for a safety car, or at least, or at least a virtual safety car to save some tires. But if there was a safety car, it would have helped me to catch up to the lead pack because I knew that I had the pace. So it would have worked in my favor. But unfortunately, we do not get a safety car. Now, originally I intended to pit on lap 13, but as you can see, we are setting green and purple sectors here, so I decided to stay out a little bit to try and see how far ahead I can actually get. And we do set a purple lap here. But as you can see, we have Verstappen right behind us, and he has actually already pitted. So we know that we are a good full stop behind the leaders, and that is not entirely ideal for us, but we're going to push forward and see how far we can actually go. Currently in 6th place, trying to chase down Perez and Sainz, setting a purple first sector with these pretty worn wet tires. So we do have the pace, and I believe that's going to help us out a lot. But we are a good distance away from the leaders, so let's see how far we can actually go with this. Trying to close in the gap to Perez and Sainz here. Trying to get a good exit, getting a little squirmy there. We do manage to hold it. Currently about 4/10 away from Perez. Trying to close in as much as we can here. Setting a green second sector, so we still do have the pace, we know that. But as you can see after this, we do actually get informed that Bottas is in the pits right now, and with this game you never really know how long you're going to get bogged in the pits if your teammate isn't there. So I decided to actually go for another lap to try and see how far ahead I can actually go. So we are going to be trying the overcut here today to see if it works for us. And from here we can see that Bottas is just about to exit the pits, and crucially we do get out ahead of him, so that is good for us. And coming to the end of lap 15, setting purple first and middle sectors, we decide that it's time to actually pit for a fresh new set of tires. Now crucially, we want to come out in a position where we are not going to be held up by traffic, because we do know that we have one of the faster cars here today. So we're going to be aiming to come out. Ideally it would have actually been here in 4th, but as you can see on the map, we have a cluster of cars who are just about to pass us, and this may not make it ideal for us. So we're just going to try and see where we come out here. Getting a little squirmy on the exit, but unfortunately we get out behind Perez. So the overcut has not actually worked for us here, as we have actually returned in the same exact position as we were in before. So not all hopeless, but it could have been better. Now coming to the end of lap 16, right on the tail of Sergio Perez, ERS on, rich fuel mix, and we go over to the right, trying to see if we can get past him, and we do outbrake him by quite a bit, holding it around the outside of turn 1, getting back on the racing line in turn 2, and now we've got past Perez. Now getting closer and closer to Sainz, we want to get past these guys as fast as we can, because every second lost behind these guys is a second loss to the leaders up ahead, and that's not really going to help us later on in the race. So we want to get past them as soon as we can. And getting onto the back straight, we get our ERS on rich fuel mix, trying to get as much slipstream as we actually can, swerving slightly to the right, trying to get past Sainz. And this is going to be tricky, but we do actually touch wheels, and we do manage to get past Sainz. Now with Vettel up ahead, we're going to try and get past him as fast as we can again. Now in the game when you're against AI, you can be a little bit more aggressive than when you are in online lobbies, because the AI do naturally back out of a lot of fights, and I do hope that gets improved in the next game, but we just have to wait and see. About a month to go, I believe, so very excited for that. Now closing in on Sebastian Vettel in lap 18. Now we are only about 3 to 4 tenths away from him, turning on our ERS, rich fuel mix, swerving out at the last second to get our car ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Now as you can see on the top right, Leclerc was actually about 6 to 7 seconds ahead on lap 18. Now a podium finish, or the last podium finish in third place, is actually Albon, about 16 seconds ahead, so that is going to be a lot of time to catch up in the next 8 laps. So we're going to see how far ahead we can go, taking it one step at a time. And you can see by lap 24 we are already on the gearbox of Leclerc, trying to get past him on the back straight. ERS on, rich fuel mix, just all that added power, and we just shoot past Leclerc. Currently we are in 4th place. Now we are going to try very hard here to push ourselves to get that last podium place. Now at the end of lap 26, coming onto lap 27, which is the final lap, we can see that Albon is over 4 seconds away, but we can see that we actually have much superior pace right now, setting the fastest lap of the race. We are going to see how far ahead we can actually catch up to Albon here. Now by this point I was already starting to feel the car slide a bit to the left and right, losing that grip, but I do try to push as much as I can, and as you can see I overshoot it a little bit over there, locking up, losing a little bit of time. Not ideal, but we're going to push on as hard as we can here and see how far we can actually catch up. Now if we were not actually bogged behind Norris, I believe, and that group of cars back then before the pit stop, maybe we would have been in a pretty good position here, maybe at least 3rd place, a solid 3rd place. But now we are battling on the last lap to try and get that last podium place here. Coming off the back straight, we are about 2 seconds away from Albon, trying to catch up to him as much as we can here, but there really isn't much pace you can pull out more than this in the wets. So we're just going to try, and maybe if he makes a mistake we could have it in our favor. But coming on to the last few corners here, we are under 2 seconds, getting a little bit squirmy there, pushing the car. Second last corner as we approach the final right turn, and we are unfortunately too far behind to get that last podium finish. But nevertheless, 50% race around France, last to 4th. Now I do hope that in a future video I'll be able to maybe redo this with a higher AI difficulty, and as I get better and better with the game, I hope to actually improve and be able to create better and better videos for you guys out there. So do comment down below what type of content you would like to see. Would it be this? Would it be time trials, or like information on setups, or no matter what, anything is fine. Just shoot it down there and we'll see if we can make it happen. So do like, comment, subscribe guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.